Hello, my friend. You are in for a treat today. We're going to be going through the actual process of writing landing page copy. This isn't a like step one, two, three type of video, but instead we're going to be doing it live together so you see what that process is like. And hopefully this is helpful for you in your process, and you can, when you're writing landing page copy, you know what to look for, etc. Throughout the process, I'll just be talking about experiences or things I know, things I've learned, and hopefully, this is gonna level up your game, or at least give you a little behind the scenes of what this process is like. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, I'm just in Figma right now. I like to do this in Figma. Typically you can actually do landing page copy in a doc, and I actually think that that is a better strategy typically. And the reason is you actually don't need to consider design needs when writing landing page copy, especially on the first passes. Right, Pancho? So you know it's live. But fundamentally, I like to have a lot of angles. So what I've done so far is I just wanted to save you guys from watching this because I just brainstormed a bunch of ideas. I wrote a bunch of ideas down. I started to do like some shaping of things that could happen, some like types of images of things that were possible. But none of it's coherent, and there isn't a very strong angle yet. So the main thing you're doing with a landing page, obviously is getting a sale, whatever that means. That might be getting an email capture, that might be getting an actual purchase for an e-commerce site, that might be someone trying your product. But don't stress about the designs when writing landing page copy, because you should do designs around the messages, not messages around the designs. Okay, so that is the first big lesson that I've learned. Let's get into this. So thinking about some header stuff, here are different angles. So the overview on the product is it's a community product. It's a Discord bot for communities, Web3 communities, Web2 communities, helping onboard people. It's like fun games, etc. It's in development. It's in flight right now. Should be out in a couple weeks. Hopefully, it's out and it's awesome by now. But by the time you watch it. So let's actually look into some of these things I'm saying here. So the first sentence is extremely important, right? That is where the hook is. That is your bread. That's your butter. So what I have right now is how communities onboard members with fun games. That's interesting. Not really. Here's the problems with it. How is good. So this is a really good hook in general. It's like how startups manage their finances. That tells you exactly. It's pretty clear, right? Without being too prescriptive and not, like relieving all the mystery. You need a little bit of mystery, but it's not super clear on what that actually means. Fun games, onboard members, etc. I like this concept of leveling up together. I think that's pretty interesting. So I almost think like that's a really good call to value for the button. Instead of saying add bot to, this is really important with buttons too. It's like, instead of having it be a strict call to action of like start your trial or, like create your account, what's called a call to value instead is a lot better. Like level up your Discord, or, get 1,000 ideas, or, like get X. Those buttons will be clicked on like twice as much, and you can literally change nothing else on your landing page. But if you have a really good call to value button and you just switch that, you could literally see your conversion rate 2x, which is pretty incredible. So to level up your community, this is a potential button copy here, and then it's also playing into this like leveling process, which could be interesting, because that's kind of like a gamified thing, and you can imagine we could have some cool designs around that, like Mario and mushrooms and, like getting bigger, etc. So you can do some fun stuff around there. I'm just going to quickly button would be way too big, but we're just doing broad brushstrokes in this video. So I'm gonna remove that for now because that idea is being articulated here. Okay, how about this for a hook? How Discord onboarding is done at Wonderful Communities. What I like about this is it has Discord, so you know it's a Discord bot. Onboarding is done is probably the weak part. And the company's name is Wonderverse, so it's kind of like a nice play of like wonderful communities. The funny thing is we don't have a name yet for the product. It's still in flight, so that might be somewhat insightful into this. But also, like, your landing page copy doesn't have to play and be cute like that. Sometimes you want to avoid being cute and go for clarity instead. But let's take this for now, how Discord onboarding is done at Wonderful Communities. Yeah, it's honestly kind of weak. But so it's important to continue momentum too. So it's like, okay, like this is maybe, there's some ideas I like in here. The Wonderful Communities thing is interesting. The leveling up is interesting. It's really important to continue your momentum, especially with writing, and not like get stuck here for 20 minutes, but it's like start to play with these other ideas, other things unfold. It keeps you moving. So grow and engage your community with simple adventures and rewards. Add a programmable Discord bot to onboard, reward, and give unforgettable experience to new members. Okay. These are like two different ones. I feel like this one has a nice unforgettable onboarding experience. Add a programmable Discord bot to onboard, reward. Add our onboard programmable Discord bot. Should bot be capitalized? I don't know. To onboard, reward, and give a unforgettable onboarding experience. I said you're saying onboarding too many times maybe. Versus grow and engage your community with simple adventures and rewards. If I were to go between these two, grow and engage is nice. What do you think? I feel like something in between the two is actually the move. Grow and engage our community with our programmable Discord bot. That gives your community's new members that's fine. This needs to be cleaned up. Probably too much, probably trying to do too much, but we're starting to see a little bit of shape here. I like to get into social proof in a section, in the next section like this. The thing trusted by X. The thing is, we haven't launched yet, so we don't have social proof. So, you know, we just know that it's going to be there, but, you know, if you don't have it yet. So you have to think about, from the user's perspective, if they're reading a story, it's like, okay, they should know generally what your product does and how it's going to help them. And then if they keep going, that means they need more information. And don't starve them of information. Be as informative as you can. This angle I had here was interesting because it's like, I joined your Discord, now what? Or the now what? Set up quests, proposals, and social games for your community to play. It's like starting to get into the actual stuff. I feel like this is a nice angle, but I'm gonna wait on it. That could be a nice like second piece, but I'm actually kind of liking this more. Where it says like automated journeys without org overhead, automate onboarding journeys without overhead. We actually got this from talking with a partner. They said, oh, like it's kind of like, oh, that's cool. This would automate my journey without, like any overhead from me. And you take that, how they think about it in their language, and you could just put that into your landing page. Taking how customers talk about your product into the landing page is one of the best things you can do, because that's all we're really trying to do is use the same mental schemas that people have and then put it in here so they can relate to it and understand you better. That's just all of communication in general, how to make what you're saying as relatable to the perceiver as possible. So automate without. So I feel like this is a really strong 0.3 probably, because think about it like this, right? Before I'm going to be talking about how to, people don't care about the automation part before they understand the value part. Like if you're selling how quick your oil changes before me understanding that I need an oil change, it's like, I can do this thing for you super fast, but it's like, what's the thing? So be careful about how you sequence information for the other person, for the perceiver. So this would be like a third point of like, oh, we could do all of these things and it's simple, you could do this for free, whatever. I like this idea. Heartwarming welcomes. That could potentially be a good second point here. So we have these things kind of fighting for point 2. Heartwarming welcomes. I joined the Discord, now what? What else do we have? Local internet culture is an interesting line. Form a strong nucleus around your community. Form connective tissue. Strong structure. Campaign mode with. So I'm just gonna get rid of these. That was a line from another Discord pot. You can do a little research, see how other people are talking about themselves. You can kind of see, oh, that's the angle that they're using. I think that works. It's kind of weak here, or they kind of stray off from here. Most people, the issue with their landing pages is there isn't a central theme, so they just hodge together like, we have this feature and we do that, and it's like there isn't something to where it like makes sense to read the entire thing. So that's what we just try to do here, is have a central theme, have everything be sharp, cut all the fluff, let people understand what you're doing. Like this one, we build products for people building the future, right? That doesn't mean anything. Well, it may be true, that doesn't mean anything in this instance. And then I guess like about it, they were fun angles. The Discord bot they warned you about can make it kind of fun. Good onboarding is the difference between a zealot and churn. I think this actually leads really well into a second point. We'll go super member instead of, like, this is a good second hook, right? Because people are like, ooh, like, thinking from the perspective of a community manager, they're looking for people to be excited, get into the community, and then here, that then can lead into the value adds real quick. So I'm actually excited about this line, more so than this one. because these are doing the same thing, right? Like, we don't need both of these. A good onboarding is the difference between a super member and churn. That could be fine-tuned. I'm not going to use the word churn. I've joined your Discord. Now what? Those are the same setup into the product values, and I feel like this one's a lot stronger. People are like gonna want to know what. So I feel like heartwarming welcomes can actually be in here. I'm just gonna kind of put out what some of the value adds are. Okay. Etc. Not gonna worry too much about that. So now we see hook, informational. It's actually easy to do. So we don't need that. I like the idea of local internet culture, but I'm not really seeing how it's gonna fit. You could do an entire cell just about like local internet culture, and I think that's a fun and interesting angle to work, but not seeing it. I don't feel like that makes sense for an entire theme. I like the idea of build communities, not audiences, but I feel like it's not worth doing that here. That could be like a good social post type of angle. Give your community systems to get them excited about your project. I'm just gonna get rid of that. We have the heartwarming welcome somewhere else. See how like much, see how, I think this is like the version of it we were pulling off of, right? All that stuff, and now we're looking at like nothing. That's what you want though. Less can be more. Sorry, it's probably better if I zoom in more too versus like work from this angle so you can get more of that juicy text in the video. How Discord onboarding is done at wonderful communities. Grow and engage your community with our programmable Discord bot that gives your community new members an unforgettable onboarding experience. I think it's too focused on onboarding. What if it's, maybe it's better to be like, turn that's obviously not good. Turn new members into new super members. The word isn't super member. It's like, what is a real big into community advocates? Into super fans? It's not really about being a fan. It's about building a community. So this is a potential angle. You can kind of play with that contention a little bit. See how we left this and we come back to it. It's like, okay, try again, see if we can redo this. And now the loop of learning is less. It's kind of like practicing a song, right? Like you practice the intro, the middle song, the end bit, and just try and, you can run just the end bit a couple times, run just the beginning bit, run the middle, do a full run through, see how they all feel. I feel like we're still in the more segmented portion of our thinking, and then we can do more of full runs, but let's do a full run for an example, right? So let's assume that we're not doing this one right now. Turn new members, go from new member to community advocate, whatever. Grow and engage your community with a programmable Discord bot that gives your new members an unforgettable onboarding experience. Level up your community. This level up concept isn't fitting into these things. Might have to cut it. A good onboarding is the difference between a super member and churn. I mean, this is happening there. Maybe I should just keep this one. We'll see. With that. Now what? Getting into the actual value adds. I'm not doing a lot of that right now just because I'm trying to work with broader concepts, and this is more getting into the nitty-gritty of the product, which probably isn't as helpful for you. But if you are looking for like your actual value adds, you have to think critically about, okay, like obviously like what is the problem solving? It's really hard. I think a lot of people just have such a hard time talking about what value they give. It's challenging. Like, think about if you were like in a job interview, you're trying to talk about yourself, like what are your strengths and weaknesses? Like it always feels like phony or challenging to do something like that. And it's especially true if it's your product and your own product, and especially if you're building it too, because you might feel insecurity about it. Or you have a skewed version of it. That's why it's so important to talk with customers, to talk with people who use your product, to see how other people are talking about it, so you can see what angles really make sense. I think getting to the value add is the most misunderstood thing. I believe the example that is used pretty well is Super Mario, where they have, instead of talking about the mushroom that he eats and describing the mushroom and the flavor of the mushroom, you talk about when Mario eats the mushroom, he becomes big. It's like, talk about the experience of becoming big and what it's like and the value there versus what the mushroom is. So it's like, for us in this experience, it's like automated onboarding journeys. Like, you don't have to sit down and create this crazy plan and put all these other tools together, right? Like getting deep engagement from your members. Like that's what people want, right? They want engagement in their Discord. So it's like, what do they want? How are you getting them there? So it's like, you know, it's automated, it's deep engagement. You're building like a cult around your product, whatever. These are the things you talk about, less so than the getting too much into the nitty gritty. Like, by using this / command, you can do X, Y, and Z, and but like you have to be, you don't want to be too, you don't want to be too mysterious, but on a landing page you do need to have some mystery. I think that it is important. There's this equation that is like mystery times clarity equals engagement, and I believe this. So if you are super mysterious but you have no clarity, like I don't even know what it does, you're just like, oh yeah, like we're changing the world, but you have zero clarity, it's not interesting to me. But if you're just super clear, like, and prescriptive, like think about how like IBM talked about computers versus Apple, where they're like literally just describing the specs, but they're not putting any of the sex in the product. That is also like, if you have 10 on clarity, 0 on mystery, like I'm not interested. Like I don't want to read this scientific journal, but like, can you be very clear on what you do and still maintain mystery? Then you have really high engagement, and like that is the magic balance between these two things. And you do that between like these push and pulls, where, you know, how Discord members onboarding is done at wonderful communities. Slightly mysterious, more clarity in here, where I'm saying more of how it actually works. Good onboarding is the difference between super member and churn. Mystery, adding clarity here of what it actually does. Automate onboarding journeys without the overhead. That's probably more, it's like some mystery, and then talking about it here, that's adding clarity. So that's the balance that we have to go through for this whole thing. Now we're at 24 minutes. I'm gonna do one more pass through, and then we'll kind of like check our work and see if we have like a strong line here. I don't want to keep you too long, but I do want to just kind of show you how to think about this stuff. 2 new members and 2 new community advocates. I'm actually going to go with this. This wasn't my dream sentence, but your first sentence is like so important, so I'm already know I'm gonna spend like 3 hours just doing this, fine tuning, chipping away, making it better and better. How onboarding Discord members is done in wonderful communities. Potential angle. Go and engage your community with our programmable Discord bot and give your new members an unforgettable onboarding experience. Maybe it's how Discord communities I don't know. Oh, did my computer die? Okay, there we go. How Discord communities play wonderful onboarding games. Yeah. Not super inspired on this first line. That's okay. Maybe you have some good ideas. Let me know what they are. Go and engage your community. Level up your community. I do an emoji here too. Good onboarding is the difference between a super user and churn. Super member into ghost town. Between a cult and churn. I wonder how people feel about the word cult. Trader Joe's was a cult. It is a cult. Apple's a cult. I think thinking of your brand, trying to build like a cult-like following is important. But it might have too many stigmas against it. That's something I'll have to test with people. But I do love that alliteration of cult and churn. I'm going to talk more about the value adds here. I do a whole other video on how to uncover your value adds, how to make onboarding journeys without the overhead. Nice thing here, the Discord bot they warned you about. We could do some fun animation thing here. Try for free, easy install, 2 minutes onboarding. Won't disturb the rest of your community. Like that's the biggest thing too. It's like people are like, oh, install this bot. It's gonna be this whole big thing, and I'm gonna have to like, it's gonna hit everyone in my community. It's like, no, you have to like show that you could try it out. No one has to even see it when you first try it. Like just kind of see if you like it first, or we should likely do a video too. I'm just gonna add that in of like we should do a video somewhere, probably up here. Where we can actually walk through the product a bit more, get people to understand that. Cool. All right, so I feel like is this shape. The thing that we really wanted to do here was not get into all the details, but we have like the nice angle now of hook to the leveling. Give them a little FOMO on this one. Value adds, nice video. It's easy to use. Something fun, playful. You could try it. Like we start to have like a string here. This took 30 minutes. You know, when writing a really good landing page, it might take you 8 hours plus. You know, I did this like brainstorming before this call and like research. Probably took another 30-40 minutes. So, you know, just understand that this is part of the process. It doesn't happen. Like the best landing pages and best writing just isn't happening. It's the process of going through it again and again and fine tuning and moving and trying new things and coming with new ideas. And if you keep honing into it, you'll start to have like a really nice shape that works. And then, like show with people, get feedback, improve, and just constantly going through this. Even when you have something that you think is really good, I think this is like the process of building a really good landing page. So thank you for watching, hopefully. Like if you have any questions, let me know, just ask them. Happy to help in any way that I can. It's a fun process though, so I hope that you enjoy, or you learned a little bit behind the scenes here, and take some lessons forward with you. You can also see like a landing page doesn't have to be beautiful in these processes, and give yourself the freedom to just create and think and brainstorm. And that is the process of being a creative, of being a builder. So thanks so much for watching, and never stop building.